Well, good evening as we wrap up an exciting day, politically, that is, if not otherwise. Good to see everybody here. We've got Hazards 4, we've got Network Citizen, Sunbelt Girl, and Terry G. Wright, and that is but a handful of the people that have been pounding, and I do mean pounding, full repeal, and the barrage of full repeal tweets has not subsided. In fact, since the withdrawal of the bill, it's intensified. So I'm bringing on, she will kill me for saying, future Congresswoman Patty Curran.
I may have to primary Virginia Fox now, no.
And but Patty is a friend of PJNET and has run against Virginia Fox. Now, you opened your big mouth and said something, and it drew some fire, didn't it? When you just pointed out the facts about Virginia Fox on her intention to vote how?
Oh, well, for the, yeah.
That was a long time ago, yeah, that's old stuff.
Are you talking about, like, she supported the AHCA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's a Boehner girl turned Ryan girl. I'm trying to think. Do you know, Boehner's staffers were always crazy. But anyway, yeah, Virginia Fox she's a Democrat.
Undocumented Democrat, yeah. And
oh, she really, I mean, it's like, I mean, let's just call her what she is. She's a progressive. And this bill, I mean, the fact that the thing that gets me, because I did call her out on my public page, and I've actually had several people saying, you need to run again. Yeah, we need money, because she spent $1 million against me last time. I mean, and that's how but that tells you the power of the people. I had 83,000, and she spent over $1 million against me. And even with the district changes, with 3 months before the election, they changed our districts, and I got 33% of the vote. Mm-hmm. So that tells you the power of door knocking and the power of the people. And I think had they at the original election, we probably would have done better. Mm-hmm. We don't know those numbers, but she was so nervous that she spent like $600,000 in the last several weeks.
Well, I got a better idea. Why don't she just give you $500,000 not to run?
I know, right? Yeah.
And you'll move and run somewhere.
Well, it was a really weird election, but she would boast that they voted 40 times. I voted 40 times to repeal Obamacare. Well, it's funny. We have President Trump. They have not voted one time, not even one time. They voted 0 times to repeal Obamacare.
Well, this is what's sickening to me, because I would like to think higher. I really would like to give this a better grade. But when they voted all those times to repeal Obamacare, they knew it would get vetoed.
It was a show vote. And
it's a show vote. And I really, it sickens me to say that.
Because
it
they
really
won
does.
re-election.
It sickens me.
But we know it was. This is obvious, because this bill, and that's what I posted on my public page. I posted how we now know that she came into the district and said, we voted to repeal Obamacare over 40 times. And no, these aren't show votes. Well, we now know beyond a shadow of a doubt that these were show votes, because the AHCA left the entire, Obamacare regulatory, system. It's totally in place. So Obamacare was in there, bailed out the insurance companies. I mean, it's just Obama 2.0, Obamacare 2.0, plain and simple.
Yeah.
And it defunded Planned Parenthood for 1 year, just long enough for people to forget. That's just typical way they appease one group of people, but then but they're probably telling the pro-choicers, oh, wait, it's only for a year, because we're just making them happy over here, so they think that we're actually doing something.
Well, the thought crossed my mind today, because I saw Trump today dispatched a tweet, and I don't have it handy, but it was to the effect of, the Freedom Caucus and pro-lifers should understand that this bill includes, provisions to defund, Planned Parenthood. And I thought, let's go dance the Potomac two-step one more time. And so now that they've withdrawn it, what I'd love to see is somebody forward a bill that defunds Planned Parenthood, and let's vote that through. And let's take away all the gushy candy that they hung around the edges of this thing, so that when it comes back, they won't have that juicy bait to sucker in people. It's sick.
Well, they need to pass one by one by one. I mean, it's unconscionable what they do. I mean, they didn't repeal Obamacare. Use the 2015 bill that they voted on already, 40 plus times, as they always like to remind us when they're in the district, pounding the ground, trying to get our votes. Oh, we voted. They can't use that. In this next election, they can't use that because they've not voted one time to repeal Obamacare. And that's the sad part of it is there are people out there. I mean, there are conservatives out there going, oh, look at this. Oh, Mark Meadows. I can't believe Mark. I'm like, what? Mark Meadows is actually standing up for what we the people want. I mean, they don't even know what's in the bill. They're just thinking, well, I had this one lady who said, oh, they should have sent it to the Senate and fixed it there. No, the bill needed to die. It didn't need to die a slow, painful death. It needed to die a quick death. Like, it's, but.
Well, it's technically not dead. It was withdrawn, but.
Conservatives don't know what's in it because they get. So here's the thing. I voted for Ted Cruz in the primary. I ended up voting for Trump in the election because we had no other choice. And my biggest reason that I had doubts about Trump was because of health care, because of what Obamacare has done to my family. We already knew that Trump loves government-run health care. He said it over and over and over and over again. So nobody should be surprised that Donald Trump is supporting Paul Ryan's bill, right? So it should be no surprise. But you've got these, and this is where we get into, what's the word I'm looking for? But basically, cult of personality. Okay. So, and it happens whether it's Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, anybody. It's cult of personality, and either you're a conservative, or you're not. And if you're going to hold to conservative principles, then you can't go based on cult of personality. And you've got these people, oh, Donald Trump, Trump, he can do no wrong because he's Trump. I'm sorry, I don't agree with him on this. I've never agreed with him on this. I voted for Trump because of the Supreme Court, but that's what the thing that's really.
And in fairness, he delivered.
Well, he did. No, and I'm not upset. So my thing is he has actually made me proud of his vote because he, he expanded the Mexico City policy, so that was very pro-life. His picks for Sessions, I've liked his picks, but the thing is I was not going to agree with Donald Trump on health care. And I'm not good just because he's Donald Trump isn't going to make me go, oh, Donald Trump, I agree with you on health care. No, because I'm a conservative and I look at the issues. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not based on his personality. I wouldn't care if like I said, it doesn't matter who it was. If this was Mark Meadows tomorrow, if Mark Meadows turned around and tried to sell us the same package of shit, I'd say sorry.
Yeah. It's
crap. Don't want it.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's part of the problem is we can't get, because they're all human and they're all going to do things that we don't agree with. We have to stick to our core principles, and that's part of the problem is that you have people who are going to just because of who he is. Yeah. Well, he's Donald Trump, so he must be right.
At this point, it's going to get interesting, the spin, because in my opinion, Trump and Ryan have a public relations nightmare. And honestly, I think they'll survive it. But what do you think they're going to do? How are they going to spin this away? I think I know what Trump's going to do, but what's Ryan? I have no idea. I mean, wouldn't you hate? I tell you, the person I'd hate to
somebody will have balls to bake it to.
I would, over the past 48 to 72 hours, I would hate to be Steve Scalise. Can't you see him sitting in the office with Ryan and Trump, and he's got to somehow tell them, folks, the votes aren't there. If you take this to the floor. Now, an interesting, a little side note is, when Ryan became Speaker, PJNET threw in behind a very, very moderate Republican. Okay? Daniel Webster from Central Florida. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the reasons he is moderate is Central Florida is very purple. And what he basically does is votes conservatively on social issues and more liberally on, budget issues. He wants more money for his, So, but here was his platform. By the way, he teaches a Sunday school class every Sunday in Orlando. Here was his platform. If I am Speaker, we're going to bring bills to the floor. We're going to have a debate. We're going to win some and we're going to lose some, and then we'll send them and we will pass legislation and send it to the desk of the president. That's what a speaker does. But now, how much debate has occurred on the floor of the House?
But part of the problem is we don't I mean, when you look at what goes on, we've got cloakrooms. I mean, the Senate has the cloakroom where they pull stuff that they can call. I mean, and then the House has the Rules Committee I mean, the rules should be the rules, should be the rules, should be the rules, right? But no, they set rules for every bill. It goes to the Rules Committee. Well, how are we going to decide if this one passes? Well, let's see here. I mean, and that's part of the problem. So then you got, it's just like with Virginia Fox in the district, because she's the head of this committee, she thinks she has power because she's the head of the education committee now, and that's part of the reason she won re-election, because she enamored people with this. But if I lose re-election, then we're just not going to have as much power because I'm on this committee and that committee, and I'm on the part of the Rules Committee, and that's all BS. Every House member should have equal power. I mean, and then the speaker, I get it, you got to have a speaker, but they get to decide what does and doesn't come to the floor. That's ridiculous.
And that's the power of the speaker. We just saw it today.
Even as somebody like, if a liberal wants to bring a bill up to the floor, it deserves debate. And I get in the interest of time, maybe you just have short, or you have some sort of debate, maybe not necessarily on the floor of the House, but every bill needs to be considered. And that's part of the problem, is because we got in trouble. I went into Wisconsin and walked against Paul Ryan. I door knocked for Paul Nealon. And people were saying, oh, well, you guys are carpetbaggers. First of all, you don't even know what a carpetbagger is, because don't even get me started on that, the whole definition of that. But I would tell him, I said, as Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan represents every American. And I don't like what he's doing, but he gets to decide what comes to the floor. Not my representative here. Well, Virginia Fox probably has a little bit of power because she is in leadership. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, my representative doesn't. Paul Ryan does, because he's Speaker of the House. And so that gives me the right to come and door knock against him. And right. I think that's part of the problem. We don't have recourse, and that's the whole reason when I went into John Boehner's office, remember when I made national news over that, confronting his staffer, because his staffer was like, well, what district are you from? I'm like, well, you know what? It doesn't really matter what district I'm from, because as right. Speaker of the House, he has to listen to me.
And the Speaker of the House is in the lineage of replacement for the presidency. The Speaker of the House could become the president.
Can you imagine Paul Ryan as president?
Yeah, when they changed that rule, I think Tip O'Neill was Speaker of the House. I thought, oh boy, gosh. But I think it'll be interesting in the days ahead, because Paul Ryan is in a very precarious situation, but he put himself there
anyway, because he had a family and he didn't want to take much time away.
I remember all that dialogue. It was supposed to be. That's called playing hard to get.
But I guess the power got to his head.
He. Whoops! You went away. We can still hear you though. I bet. There you go. You're back.
I think. Can you see me now?
Yeah, well, you're back.
Somebody tried to call me. Whatever. But yeah, and that's part of the problem. It makes me sick, because the power goes to their head, and they forget about we the people. And Virginia Fox, give me a break.
Yeah. Well, it's withdrawn, and the reason it was withdrawn, there can only be one explanation: they didn't have the votes, and there was no debate. As a result,
absolutely.
The Democrats are just in a feeding frenzy, thinking
have an up and down vote.
They've won. Conservatives, myself, and those that I collaborate with, are glad that we don't have a bill that's either as bad or almost as bad as Obamacare with our GOP fingerprints on it. And but a lot of the dialogue that I'm seeing is demonizing the Freedom Caucus and us, and us in a broad sense, not PJNET, but us.
Oh well,
because we kept Obamacare in place, and no, this isn't the end.
Well, and the thing is that's what you have to explain to people, that this bill didn't repeal Obamacare. It kept the entirety of the Obamacare structure. The whole regulatory structure of Obamacare was untouched in this bill. So it was not a repeal of Obamacare.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing. And when you tell that to other conservatives, like, what? I'm like, no, I mean, this bill didn't change anything about Obamacare. And then it goes on, it actually bailed out, was going to bail out insurance companies. I mean, that's asinine.
Yeah.
And, it's ridiculous that we need to, my personal opinion is repeal Obamacare and don't replace it.
That's my opinion. And for the people, the pre-existing conditions, if you have a pre-existing condition and you are in the state of, and then fill in the blank, that state needs to figure out a way to take care of its people.
The Democrats have been lying to the American people for so long that they don't even realize. Okay, first of all, let's take the pre-existing conditions. I have 2 kids with the genetic bone marrow failure syndrome and secondary mitochondrial disease. Now, 12 years ago, when we moved here, the company my husband works for, gave them insurance and you know what? Covered pre-existing. We didn't have to give them a HIPAA showing that we had not lost insurance coverage. So there were companies who covered pre-existing conditions without question. Now, do I think it's a bad idea? No, I'm not saying that would be something that I would go after, but let's not believe the lies of the Democrats. Then the next thing is the Democrats want to say, oh, people can't get their medications. That's BS, because I'm telling you right now, some of the medications my kids take, we can't get help because we have insurance and we make too much money. Mm-hmm. If we didn't make as much as we did, the drug companies would give it to us at no cost to us. And so
it can become a disincentive to work. It really can.
I mean, and the problem is, like I said, there are things out there. I mean, the drug companies have assistance programs. The blood product my son infuses weekly, we've got him enrolled in the drug company assistance program. It's become overburdened because of Obamacare, and they don't help as much because there are more people requiring assistance. Mm-hmm. But that's the biggest thing that we have to try and get across, because the Democrats want us to believe that before Obamacare, nobody had pre-existing conditions ever covered. That's a lie.
Yeah. That is you should see some of the replies I'm getting to my tweets. That me and us, we want people to die.
No, you know what I say to them? I says, oh, okay, so basically what you're saying is it's okay that my son's life-saving medication and blood product that he infuses weekly is no longer affordable and he might die, but I'm supposed to say, oh, it's okay. My son can die because, look, it's helping little Johnny over there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not that I don't care about little Johnny, but the thing is it's not the role of government to pay for little Johnny or to force us to pay for little Johnny. It's like we were talking about, healthcare is not a natural right. I mean, and that's part of the problem. It's like, it's not that I don't have compassion for little Johnny or Granny or anybody else. It's the fact that the government takes my tax dollars, rapes me, and then I am no longer able to take care of my own kids. And this is a question no liberal's ever been able to answer for me. I've said, why am I an evil person? Because I want to keep more of my own money, in order to pay for my own children. Yeah. Nobody ever answers that. They can't. Because the government takes money away from me and gives it to little Johnny and Granny and Susie, and then I no longer have the money I need to pay for my own children. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what most conservatives are asking for. We're saying, look, we want to take care of our own families. Let's decrease the regulatory burden so that we can get affordable health insurance. But see, the liberals on the left, they want everything. That's how we got insurance like we have today, because they want their birth control free. They want their pap smear for free. They want their breast exams for free. They want everything for free. And that's not what insurance is supposed to be.
I know plenty of them that offer free breast exams.
Yeah, well, I after I said that in my brain, I said, oh, well, no. But seriously, and that's the part of the thing that people forget. I mean, insurance was never meant for $9 a month birth control or a $10 prescription or a $25 doctor visit or whatever. And that's part of the problem, because now the insurance premium, the more things that you have covered on your insurance, the higher the premiums are going to be.
Let me ask you this, and we've got to wrap it up, but I was having this discussion the other day. Any product that is being subsidized, the price is going to go up. regardless of who's providing the
Look at
subsidy.
education.
Right. Regardless of who or what, you take the politics out of it. If something's being subsidized, then the price will never come down. It will just go up. That's a natural law of economics. I'm not an economist, but I got common sense. Rather than prop up high prices and duplicative services and expensive, I wonder what the cost of healthcare would be if insurance companies were abolished tomorrow. Do you think all these hospitals would close? Do you think all these people would die? Well, no. I think that the market would come in and say, I was making the comment to somebody this morning, here in Tallahassee, we've only got 2 little hospitals with Life Flight helicopters perched above both of them all day and night. Do we really, can't we, maybe another company could start a business called Life Flight and contract their services to all hospitals within their cover, and compete for their business and not have 2 helicopters that 99.9% of the time are just sitting there. And of course, those helicopters have pilots just sitting there. There's got to be a better way. But my point being is if insurance drives costs up.
That's the thing, is the free market solves problems. Free market solves problems better than government ever can. And insurance is not supposed to be for your everyday needs. Do you buy car insurance to pay for your gas, oil changes, tire changes?
Right. Maintenance on your car.
Insurance is for if you get in an accident.
Catastrophic loss.
You're exactly catastrophic, and that's typically what health insurance was meant to be. So if I my own would pay for their life-saving medications, but I would pay for their routine
and how much would a doctor visit cost if insurance companies weren't propping up the price? How much is a doctor visit? Well, people will tell you, $20. No, it's not.
Well, and the thing is, you got to think about it, because if you didn't have insurance, you could go in and pay the doctor $50. They wouldn't have to pay someone to file insurance, follow up on whether or not they got. So there's a whole process there. The insurance doesn't just drive it up because of the cost of the insurance, but it drives up the cost because then you have to have employees who are well versed in insurance in each of the companies. They have to know the code, all of the different things.
Back office stuff. Yeah.
Right.
I get it.
So it's just, but I don't know. I just think the free market's the answer, and we don't have a free market. We haven't had a free market. Ann Coulter had a great tweet. If you go look through her tweet feed yesterday, she had a great tweet yesterday that said, hey, GOP, you can't imitate government regulations or something like that. Government regulations can't take the free market. The free market can be a free market or something like that. But it was a great tweet because you cannot regulate the free market into existence.
Yeah. In conclusion, withdrawing the vote today, victory or defeat for the conservative cause?
Oh, I think it was a victory.
Okay. It'll be back.
I'm looking at it as a victory because we didn't pass Obamacare 2.0.
Well, and I concur. But you know what? We ain't done. What my strategic objective here was to get a new set of downs. Okay? The battle, we haven't won the game. We haven't won the season. But we did get a new set of downs.
This is a century-long fight. We're going to be fighting until we die.
Yeah. So in our
way to restore America, you've got to be in it until death.
In our celebration of victory today, let's not forget that we just got a new set of downs. The game's still on, and we're going to have to. It'll be back, and we've got to be vigilant and stay with it. So, Patty, thanks for sharing with us.
The liberals and the rhinos.
Thanks
for having me.
You're great, Patty. Thank you so much.
All right.
Good night.
Bye.
All right. Well, folks, that was Patty Curran, and always good to hear her comments and what she has to say. And it's good that we have so many folks here that are continuing the battle. And again, I'll comment that the full repeal hashtag has not subsided since the announcement that the bill was withdrawn. It has actually accelerated. So it's going to be interesting, folks. Tomorrow and over the weekend, we'll probably put full confirmed Gorsuch back online. I haven't spoke with my collaborators in detail about that. But for now, let's just have a party and enjoy the fact that we are not fighting a new battle in the Senate to undo what the House might have done today. Enjoy the victory and let's celebrate, let's party. And we will keep going as our PJNET live full repeal hashtag rally continues.